Hey, what's up everyone? I hope you're all having a great day. So the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim is loaded with decisions, but they're not all good ones. Some just have bad outcomes, therefore you shouldn't make them. In this video, I'm going to tell you what I believe the 10 worst decisions you can make in Skyrim are, and we'll discuss why in detail. The 10th worst decision you can make in Skyrim is accepting the Narfi contract before completing his miscellaneous objective, the Straw That Broke. One of the first Dark Brotherhood contracts given to the Dragonborn by Nazir is killing a lonely beggar named Narfi, who lives in a rundown shack across the river from the main part of Ivarstead. It's an easy task, however accepting this quest makes it impossible to complete another quest given by Narfi called the Straw That Broke. It's a brief miscellaneous objective in which you must track down Narfi's missing sister Rada. This isn't a very elaborate quest and the reward is nothing special, but it's a shame to miss out on it because it's interesting. Camelworks actually did a 4-hour-long video about Rada's disappearance, Narfi's madness, and this whole situation. Also, if you've done this quest ahead of time, then when the time does come to end Narfi's life, you can do so knowing that you gave him some closure. Next up, we've got Keeping Frost. At the conclusion of the quest, Promises to Keep, you have a chance to double-cross Louis Latruche and take the valuable horse Frost for yourself. However, he's more of a burden than a reward. Horses don't do anything to actually make playing Skyrim easier, they're more of an aesthetic than anything else. They're clumsy to maneuver, make stealth much harder, and die very easily. Frost is slightly better than most horses, but he's still not worth it. I used to keep him just for the novelty of having him, but it was more work than it was worth. What I would do is I would always make sure to play the Dawnguard questline until I made it to the Soul Cairn, then I'd go find the Summon Arvax spell, then I'd do Promises to Keep after. Then I'd get Frost and bring him somewhere where I could trust that he would be safe. Usually Windstad Manor, which I'd also make sure to have always built in advance. Then I'd put Frost in a stable and summon Arvac and ride him around so that the game would unregister Frost as my horse, and he'd stop following me around. Yeah, more work than it's worth. Just let Louis have him so that he can breed him, eat him, whatever he does with him, and take the dough. Number 8 is killing Cicero. After completing breaching security for the Dark Brotherhood questline, Cicero the Mad Jester will have a meltdown, and he'll flee to the abandoned sanctuary in Dawnstar where you'll have to track him down. Once you reach him, you'll have your choice of killing him or letting him go. It's better to simply walk away. All you get from killing him is his outfit, which does have some good enchantments. Cicero's clothes are particularly pretty sweet, they make prices 20% better and one-handed attacks do 20% more damage. But none of it actually has any damage resistance because it counts as clothes and not armor. And there is a slightly worse version of this same outfit at the entrance to the sanctuary anyway, so if you just want the aesthetic, grab these. If you let Cicero go, then you'll get him as a follower at the end of the Dark Brotherhood questline, and he's one of the best stealth followers in the game. Also, he's entertaining. Every once in a while he'll dance around and have a little giggle to himself, and he comments on places you bring him and stuff you do as you travel Skyrim together. Now we have building the Enchanter's Tower and or the Alchemist's Laboratory for your Hearthfire homesteads. While these wings might seem intriguing, they don't add much to the house because the main hall already has an Arcane Enchanter and an Alchemy Lab. The other choices for the West and North wings are a lot more useful. The Bedrooms edition for the West Wing makes it so the homestead has a complete set of beds for you, your spouse, 2 kids, and a full house staff. Otherwise, adding the Greenhouse gives you a bunch of soil to plant alchemy ingredients in. Now the other choices for the North Wing are the Trophy Room, which is really just a novelty, I wouldn't pick this one either, and the Storage Room, which is always my choice because it gives you a lot more storage, which allows you to organize your items a lot more specifically. And having that deck on the North Wing is very nice, especially for Windstad Manor and Lakeview Manor. I mean, look at those views. Next up is choosing the Rueful Axe over the Mask of Clavicus Vial. At the end of a Daedra's Best Friend, you'll have your choice of killing Barbas with the axe in order to keep it, or swapping it for the Mask of Clavicus Vial. The Mask is a much better choice. The Rueful Axe is very slow, and just doesn't do much damage. Also, there are plenty of unique two-handed weapons in Skyrim, but there aren't many unique helmets. The Mask of Clavicus Vial is one of the few, and is one of the better ones. The 20% lower prices and increased speech are both very useful when bargaining. When I play vanilla, I always put this on when I have a bunch of loot to sell from a dungeon I just cleared. The profits I get from that go towards the player homes, and it helps train the speech skill a whole lot. So you get all that from sparing Barbas, and you also get the satisfaction of knowing that you had a hand in trolling Clavicus Vial long term. Now I want to take a second to tell you guys about Fallout for Hope. For those who don't know, Fallout for Hope is a charity initiative that raises money through Fallout-themed content for a few causes. Right now we're fundraising for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. So if you're interested in possibly making a donation or simply finding out more, there's a link to my Tiltify campaign in the description below. The fifth spot is underutilizing the sneak mechanic. There are lots of these little hidden conversations throughout Skyrim's gameplay that you can only overhear if you remain undetected. While these don't lead to extra rewards, it's a shame to miss out on them. Because the Skyrim experience is all about lore, and that includes the small things like this. Also, Skyrim has some fun stealth gameplay. There's something so satisfying about sneaking around without getting caught and besting all the enemies without them ever even noticing you. I get much more enjoyment out of that than I do from charging in and hacking and slashing away or blasting everyone with magic. And your sneak skill doesn't need to be that high to get good enough use out of it. Number 4 is choosing this dialogue option with Madanach during No One Escapes in the Mine. Once you have the pleasure of meeting the King in Rags, you'll have to decide between getting revenge for the stunts he pulled with Nepos the Nose or helping the Forsworn escape. If you choose the former, your next objective is escaping on your own. And Fonar will reward you with the Silver Blood family ring, which fortifies smithing 15%. If you choose the latter, Madanach will reward you with the armor set of the Old Gods, which has some really just okay enchantments. So why is killing Madanach a mistake? Because you can kill him after he gives you the armor of the Old Gods. Then you can just go outside and get the Silver Blood family ring from Fonar afterward. It doesn't change anything about the result. Frankly, it just makes it so you experience more content to get both rewards for it. So there's a bit of an exploit for you if you're looking for some tips and tricks. The third worst decision you can make in Skyrim is siding with Silus over Mehrunes Dagon during pieces of the past. At the conclusion of this quest, Dagon will order you to execute Silus, and if you do so, he will reward you with Mehrunes Razor. If you choose to spare Silus, he will give you 500 gold. So, the Razor is the superior choice by a huge margin, people. You get 500 gold for doing one job for Delvin. Mehrunes Razor is an amazing weapon, and I love that badass look it has to it. It swings very fast, does a good amount of damage, especially for that speed, and its enchantment is that there's a small chance of an instant kill, which, by the way, never has to be recharged with soul gems. Fans have done the math, and it should happen about twice per 101 swings, or once per 50.5 swings, but there's no half a swing, so you get the idea. Only a few characters are immune to it. The Ebony Warrior can actually deflect the insta-kill onto you because he has the Reflect Blows heavy armor perk. Also, Mirak and Karstag are both simply immune to the effect. So, do not miss out on this. Send Silus to Oblivion and enjoy the reward. Next we've got doing Breaching Security without claiming the bonus. For this quest, Gabriella will task the Dragonborn with killing Gaius Mero and framing him for a fake plot to assassinate the Emperor. The reward for this is 1,250 gold, but she'll also offer you an extra reward if you manage to kill Gaius in a city. As in, if you do the deed within the walls of Solitude, Markarth, Whiterun, Windhelm, or Riften, you get another prize. So what is it? Well, it's a little gem called Olava's Token, which you can give to a fortune teller of sorts in Whiterun named Olava the Feeble. An unfortunate number of players skip this because it doesn't seem worth it at first glance. It's hard to kill someone in a city without getting caught, so why go to that much trouble just to have your fortune told? Well, there's a bit more to it than just that. If you get the bonus, one of the things that comes up in Olava's reading is someone she calls an assassin of old, who apparently met their demise in the ruins of Hag's End. This will start a misc objective to locate this mysterious assassin of old. Hag's End is located in Deepwood Vale, which is a small valley in the mountains that separate Haafingar and the Reach. To get there, you must pass through Deepwood Redoubt, another location which is really part of the same dungeon. And this is one of my favorite dungeons. It's so uniquely designed and has a charming aesthetic to it. The objective marker will lead you here, and you'll have to open this secret door to get to the Assassin of Old and claim your true reward. The Ancient Shrouded Armor set, which is debatably the best light armor set in the game, and is definitely the best armor for stealth gameplay. Each piece has a lot of resistance. The boots and gloves specifically have the same amount of resistance as Dragon Scale boots and gauntlets. And when you're wearing the whole set, the game adds another 25 resistance points overall. If you're still not sold, the enchantments are also terrific. The cuirass has complete poison resistance, the boots are muffled, the cowl gives bows 35% more damage, and the gloves double sneak attack damage for all one-handed weapons. Yeah, this is one of the best armor sets in the game. Putting that extra effort into killing Gaius is absolutely worth it. A tip I'll offer is, in my experience, I've had an easy time killing him in Markarth when he's on this stretch of stairs leading to and from the guard tower. Now it's time to reveal the single worst decision that is possible to make in Skyrim, which I sadly made in my first playthrough. Never, and I mean never, kill Astrid during with friends like these. After you've assassinated Grelod the Kind, sleeping in a bed will eventually trigger the next quest, in which you wake up in an abandoned shack in the middle of nowhere. A cloaked woman named Astrid will explain that she's kidnapped you and a few other people, and she won't let you leave until you kill someone else in the shack. You might think to yourself, how about I just kill her, which you can do. It will start the quest, Destroy the Dark Brotherhood, in which you'll have to kill the other members of her organization. However, this is the worst decision that's possible to make in Skyrim, because you miss out on the entire Dark Brotherhood questline, which is one of the best questlines in the game. So you miss out on all that fun and on all the great rewards you get throughout this questline, including the ancient shrouded armor set we just talked about, unlocking Cicero as a follower, getting wind shear, and more. So yeah, killing Astrid is not the way to go, and what really sucks about this one is that it's a totally understandable decision to make. I remember when I made it, this condescending lady had pulled my scaly Argonian ass out of my comfy warm bed in Breeze home and hauled me off to some shack and was demanding that I kill someone, so I was like, okay. Then a few months passed and I was playing, I think it was the Zombies map Call of the Dead in the first Black Ops, and I told someone that was in the game with me that I did that, and he just said, idiot. Then he explained that I had missed out on one of the best questlines in the game, and that made the Black Rose very sad. But eventually, I started a new playthrough and amended that terrible mistake I made, so it all worked out in the end. Now, as we're wrapping up here, I have some channel announcements. The next major benchmark I'm looking forward to is 10,000 subscribers, and when I reach that goal, I'm going to send out a poll and have you guys vote on a video idea for me to make. The choices are what happens to the original Dawnguard, what's making the fog worse in Far Harbor, the truth behind the Great Serpent Volume 2, a Shalador's Secrets kind of thing. It's the complete version of what I found during my investigation into Kanarik that I did for the 5 Unsolved Skyrim Mysteries video. And I've decided to add Sadia and Kamatu to the poll as well, as in who's telling the truth about their situation. I've also started to be a bit more open about my circumstances in life and my career, because I've been getting some questions like essentially along the lines of, hey Rosie, how far are you from being stable as a content creator? So let's talk for a minute about that here. So this room here, this what you're seeing behind me, this is a room that I rent from some loved ones of mine, and we live in a small town. They've been extremely supportive of me as I'm trying to make it as a content creator. They've been so generous, and I'm very grateful for that. But I can't stay here forever. It's not that I'm unhappy here, or that I think that I deserve better, or something like that. I have a lot to be thankful for in life. I'm just, I guess the phrase is I'm in a rut here. You know, I want to go live life to the fullest. I want to go places I've never been. I want to go meet the woman of my dreams and settle down with her when it's time. And I'm not going to find her living in a small room in a small town. So I evaluate where I'm at with my career every September. So if I'm not where I need to be doing this when next September rolls around, then I probably will go get another full-time job. If it comes to that, then I'm sorry, but I need to get on with my life and I'm not getting any younger. So regarding the question, how far am I from being set as a content creator? Well, I did some math. If the current ratios hold up, which is a big if right there, then in theory, I'd be able to get a place in a city with probably 400 to 500,000 views per month and 40 to 50,000 subscribers. So it's not impossible, but I certainly have some work to do. So for the next few months, I'm going to give this everything I've got. I'm going to try harder to get this done than I have ever tried to do anything in my life. 200% and more. And hopefully I'll make it. Also, I've always known that I'd eventually need to expand beyond having just a single YouTube channel, so I've been trying to get a seat on a podcast or start one with other creators. I'm looking for essentially a nerd news kind of podcast because I have a lot of opinions about things besides just Bethesda that I never get to share. Like, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, I love anime, the Stranger Things. I actually did a theory video about that show leading up to their 4th season, and I totally nailed it. To my knowledge, I am the only person in the world that got Vecna's identity right. Oh, and if you haven't seen the new season of Arcane yet, it is a must-watch. Fortiche has done some of the best animation I have ever seen. It is incredible. I've also been streaming a lot recently. Like the other day I was streaming Stalker 2, and that's a great game. For me, there's a lot of learning in that, but I got used to it. You know, I recommend trying it. And there's also Black Ops 6. I've been streaming the Black Ops 6 multiplayer a lot, so if you're more a classic Call of Duty fan like myself, like my favorite Call of Duty was Black Ops 2. So if you like that better than the more recent Call of Duties, then I recommend trying this one. It's closer to that than the recent ones have been. So if you're interested in seeing me play those two games, then give me a follow on Twitch. I don't stream here because, unlike many developers nowadays, I understand that when you've built an audience around a certain thing, then it tends not to be a good idea to try to force them to like something else. Thank you all so much for watching. Please smash that like button and subscribe if you want to vote in the poll. Thanks again, everyone, and I will see you next time.